Kate Mila-Falcha, welcome to Irish Granny Helen. Welcome to my honored guest, Debbra Lupien, voice of the AKASHIC Records. Hi, Debbra.
Hi, this is juicy tonight.
Welcome back. Love doing this with you. I'm just a little concerned for your well-being. I don't want your head to be separated from your shoulders there. That's making me nervous. It's actually appropriate. Why don't you tell everybody why it's so appropriate?
Well, because we're going to be talking to Vincent Price tonight, and this is from the famous movie, The Pit and the Pendulum.
Yeah, I'm dying to talk to him about Edgar Allan Poe, because we did Edgar Allan Poe, remember, a long time ago?
We did.
Really interesting. So it's going to be good. So I have, by the time this video of ours right now is uploaded for the public, already available will be the roughly 30 minute video that I've already made about basic life of Vincent Price. So everybody knows who we're talking about and what it is he did. One of my very favorite character actors. Did you ever watch like Chiller, those sorts of Saturday afternoon television movies in the 50s and 60s? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, some of it. I don't remember Chiller, but yeah.
Well, that might have been a Los Angeles thing, because Southern California, you know. Elvira, do you remember Elvira?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, I don't know where she was located. I don't know if she was in LA, possibly not. I saw her interviewed fairly recently, and as like a normal person, and she was actually really intelligent, really an interesting person. Such a great shtick. Anyone who doesn't know Elvira, she hosted a movie once a week on television on like Saturday afternoons. They had all this dead time they had to fill, and they'd show old horror movies, scary movies. A lot of the Vincent Price movies I saw was watching those on a Saturday afternoon. I really looked forward to them. That was some of my favorite television, were the old movies. So let's talk with Vincent Price, shall we?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So he was born in 1911 in St. Louis, Missouri, and his father worked for the National Candy Corporation. And just to break the ice and get started, I want to know how much of free candy did his father bring home?
Okay, so Vincent, did your father bring home a lot of free candy? No, he didn't bring home candy. He did not feel it was a good influence for his children. Isn't that interesting?
He was no fun. I'm sorry to hear that. Oh man, there should be some benefits, you know, to having your parents' jobs, right? So he was a descendant of the first baby, the first colonist born in the Massachusetts colony. She was born on the Mayflower in Provincetown Harbor, and her name was Peregrine White. And I'm so curious. Couple of double-barreled question. How much did that mean to him in his life as Vincent Price? And has he encountered her since? And, you know, just I'm curious about that.
Yeah, that's fascinating. So, Vincent, were you impacted by having your famous ancestor? You said it was Peregrine?
Peregrine, like the falcon?
Peregrine. Yeah. Okay, so Peregrine White. Was she an influence in your life as Vincent? No, he was not that kind of a child. That did not interest him. It was there, of course. Family talked about it, but for whatever reason, it didn't resonate for him.
Has he met her now?
Oh, so have you met her now that you're on the other side? Yes. And they've had good talks, and now he gets it. He understands. But when he was here, he just did not have an appreciation for it.
You know, that's the way kids are. My husband is related to somebody who came over on the Mayflower. I promised my family that I wouldn't give out personal details too much, so I won't say who he was related to. But we actually went to the Provincetown Museum that's in honor of them, the Mayflower Museum there, and saw personal belongings of his ancestors, and it's kind of cool. And then I disappointed the family. He disappointed the family when he showed up with an immigrant. Can you imagine, people that really cared about being descendants? They really cared about that. Yeah. So I brought a little life into the family. Vincent went to England to act. He was on the stage and he really made a big hit. He was a great stage actor. And I'm just curious if he would describe pre-World War II England. He was there in 1935-ish, and he was in London. And I'm just curious what the atmosphere was like, what he thought of the stage life there.
Yeah. So Vincent, can you tell us about 1935-ish London? What was that like when you were going on the stage there? He really enjoyed the people, the theater people. They had a close-knit group that supported one another because it was a hard scrabble time to be alive, and things were a struggle. Pennies were tight. So having that community meant all the difference to him in getting by and having a much better experience than he would have otherwise. The merchants were by and large friendly. He enjoyed the atmosphere. He would have liked it had it been, a little less intense, but that was the times and not much to do about that. So anything else? No.
Yeah, was the intensity partly the result of the political situation? Did he recognize that? Was he aware of what was going on, the threat that was looming over them?
So were you aware of the political tensions of the time? Was that part of what you were referencing? The political threat? Yeah, people talked about it. A lot of whispering in back rooms. Some people were afraid to speak out publicly because there could be, punishment for that. So it was an odd time. Some parts were dark and secretive. And it had its own eeriness, which it feels like it almost bled into his energy. And he absorbed that and then transmuted it to use in his acting.
Would he say that he was born at that particular time partially for that reason, that there was something about the energy of the time that was important for him spiritually?
So would you say there was something important for you spiritually, and that's why you were born at that time? Absolutely. He chose to be born then because that was when he could connect with certain souls he'd had lifetimes with before, but it was also an opportunity for growth. Of course, they were not connected as we are now, but there was an undercurrent of that connection. And because he was an artist, he was more connected to it than the average person would be. So he felt it running under. It was like a current in his life, like a river running through.
Yeah, and you're a public figure to an extent, and you're working in a field where emotions are your job, and you can't avoid that kind of thing. It's easy if you're, say, I don't know, an accountant in a small business. You just put your head down, mind your own business. And it doesn't work that way when you're out there in front of people under the lights, right?
Yeah. Well, he said he studied people, so it gave him a really great opportunity to see people of all sorts of lives so he could study that and then use it in his work.
His first horror movie that he made was in 1939. He made The Tower of London. That thing behind you cracks me up. The Tower of London with Boris Karloff. And I'm just really curious, what was Boris Karloff like? What did he think of working with him?
So tell us about working with Boris. They had so much fun together. They like to, prank each other and joke around. And because the material that they were working with was pretty dense and dark. They would lighten things up between takes and when they had breaks and just have a really good time. And he's saying you would be surprised at what a laid back, fun guy he was.
I wouldn't be surprised. People that are an exaggeration of themselves are usually self-aware. Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised. He also did a movie with Abbott and Costello later. He made The Invisible Man, I think, with Boris Karloff. Then he made The Invisible Man Returns with Abbott and Costello. Another couple of actors, their series of movies. I don't know. I must have just been the right age, that kind of humor. I loved Abbott and Costello. Did he like working with them? He did voiceovers, so maybe he actually did not work like one-on-one. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. So what about working with Abbott and Costello? What do you have to share about that? He enjoyed the humor. He was somebody who really liked to laugh, relax, let his hair down, and they had a good time together. So yeah, he was very appreciative of that. And he's showing me this picture. It's like, because he did a lot of intense work, it brought balance to his life. So that was really important for him.
It's really apparent from the kinds of movies he made or through his life that he did the intense, dark, serious, and camp stuff, but he had a sense of humor. And like we talked about earlier, you have to be self-aware. So I'm curious to know, he also did film noir, and I loved him in film noir. Sometimes the horror just gets a little too fakey, for me. Doesn't intend to be, but it is kind of, it's kind of the willing suspension of disbelief doesn't suspend, But the film noir, I just loved him. And he didn't always have the big lead, but he had these great, subtle supporting roles. Did he have a favorite genre? Because he worked on the stage and he did comedy and he did film noir and he's known for his horror. What was his favorite?
So do you have a favorite genre that you worked in? Really, he loved it all. But yeah, the horror was fun. Although he's having a hard time between the horror and the comedy. Because again, balance, right?
Yeah.
It's like one without the other would not have been as satisfying. But having them both, it just made life more special and kind of brighter.
Yeah, I can see that. So he did a lot of crime, horror and noir, a lot of crime. Some of it was real, like the real kind of crimes that people do to each other in the film noir. And the horror was, fantastic, right? Which was scarier? Which is scarier, does he think? Is it scarier to see the horror films or just the true crime? Is that the one that really scared him?
So can you give us the contrast between the horror movies and the true crime? How would you describe that experience to differentiate? Well, the horror was easy because that's just a lot of overacting. It's being bigger than life. Yeah. But the true crime was more of an intellectual exercise, and he quite liked that.
I wanted to thank him. He made two of my favorite scary movies. And I saw them at an age where it was the perfect age to take it seriously. Now if I saw them, I have seen them as an adult and I just laugh. But he scared the liver out of me several times as a child. And the first one was House on Haunted Hill. He made the original House on Haunted Hill. Oh my God. And it's his fault that I got in trouble with my parents. I convinced the babysitter, my 2-year-old, 3-year-old brother, could stay up and watch it. He had nightmares all night.
I'll bet, yeah.
And then the best one was House of Wax. Have you ever seen that one? Oh my God. Carolyn Jones. What was it like working with Morticia Addams? That was Caroline Jones played Morticia Addams later.
I thought that's what you meant, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
So what was it like for you working with Caroline Jones? She was sharp, witty. They had a lot of banter together, and a lot like Karloff because they could. He's showing me visual like tossing a ball back and forth. That was the conversation.
Yeah,
So it was
repertoire.
as equals, which is really marvelous when you think about it, because he could have lorded it over her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it wasn't that way. It was a real camaraderie.
Yeah. He had a demeanor. He was very kind of a formal, dignified public demeanor, and it would have been easy for him to put on airs. I never had the impression that he did that kind of, I don't know why, just the sense I had of him as a person. He was too down to earth, but he didn't look like a down to earth person. It was great. Oh, and The Fly. Ask him, okay, I'm going to audition for The Fly. Have him tell me what he thinks. Help me.
Okay. So tell us about The Fly. What would you like to say about that experience? He thought it was so corny. It didn't seem like so much horror to him because he'd been through so much of it at that point. But he did understand how it could be quite terrifying to the audience. So, it was a job, not one of his favorites by any means, but memorable.
Well, I need to thank him because I saw it when I was probably, I don't know, let's just say 9 or 10. And a significant number of decades have passed, and I still remember it fondly. It was a great experience. So he made an impression. It was well done. Scary.
Yeah.
I never looked at flies the same way again. Oh, okay, let's see here. He also made the 10 Commandments, but I don't really care about that. No, no offense. Let's see, what else did he do? Oh, so he got into doing Edgar Allan Poe. And I imagine it was because of his voice. He had a beautiful voice and such a great delivery. But he would have had to agree to do it. Did he love Poe? I mean, why Poe?
Yeah, so tell us about Poe. What was the attraction for you? He was really attracted to the poetic sensibility of Poe. That it was deep. He understood it. It resonated for him. And when he was doing it, it was like the words rolled off his tongue, and it gave him these wonderful sensations. There was just something for him. He really connected with it at a spiritual level. And it was like the words rolling off his tongue had this visceralness to them, which you don't find every day.
Yeah, Poe intended that. I mean, the way his poems were structured, the rhythm and the repetition of sounds and letters was intended to do that. So there was something about that resonated with him personally. And he worked with Basil Rathbone. Basil Rathbone was the English guy who played the original Sherlock Holmes in the old movies. Yeah, so good. What was it like working with him?
So what about Basil Rathbone? Oh, well, not as interesting as you might think. He was kind of a dull man.
That, doesn't surprise me. He took himself seriously.
Good actor.
No, I asked him. Did he kind of take himself seriously?
Okay, so are you saying he was a dull man because he had a swelled head? He took himself too seriously. Yeah, it was that English affectation that some people have.
Glad he said it because I'm so glad he took the words out of my mouth, and I wasn't going to say them because I'm trying to be, oh, that's hilarious. That's exactly the impression I had. Yeah. Kind of nose in the air. Yeah. It's okay. Well, tell him I said, we know what's up. Okay.
You got it.
Later on, he was a frequent guest on Hollywood Squares. And I recently watched a documentary on Paul Lynde, Paul Lynde was, like the notorious center square for a very long time. And I guess Vincent Price was a frequent part of the cast. So he must have met Paul Lynde. And I'm curious, what was it like working with those people? Because they were all irreverent. And when I was a kid, I didn't get it. I look back at it now and I go, oh, I get what they were up to.
A lot of inside jokes. Yeah. So what about working with Paul Lynde? Can you tell us about that? He admired him because it wasn't easy living a closeted life. And somehow he managed to bring that snarky humor, and which made him the star. I mean, he shone there in the center of the squares, and not everybody can do that. So he had great admiration for his talent.
Well, it was his delivery. He would say the most awful things and he'd laugh. It just seemed to ameliorate the sting somehow. Yeah, I thought he was very smart. I don't think he was all that much in the closet. I hate to say it.
Well, for a lot of people, a lot of people had no clue. So he was really in the closet in that respect. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. See, you came from California, so you don't get that. If you came from White Toast America,
yeah,
clueless. Like when I grew up, I never knew Jim Nabors was gay, and apparently lots of people knew that. It was like an open secret.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know that. I thought he was Gomer Pyle. I believe that wholeheartedly. Yeah, I didn't know. Also, I think I was very distracted by his singing, because he acted like he had this high dorky voice, and then when he sang, he had this deep, it was a baritone. Yeah. Oh my God, it was beautiful. I didn't like his taste in music, but he had a beautiful voice. Yeah, but that's neither here nor there. Someday we'll have to do Gomer Pyle. So we talked about Basil Rathbone. Vincent, you confirmed my suspicions there. Let's see. He worked with his wife. Was it hard to work with your wife on stage?
Oh, so working with your wife on stage, how was that? They were very in sync. It was like they finished each other's thoughts. So it was very good. They could mirror one another. They could anticipate beautifully. And because of that, it allowed them to improvise and be a little bit mischievous, because, the snooty people didn't approve of improvisation.
Yeah.
They were intellectual and they had a great sense of humor. So that was fun for them. Because they were so in tune, they could sneak it in and get away with it where other people couldn't. So
that's very lucky, very fortunate. Yeah, it's cool. He had a thing on his resume that really took me by surprise. In 1975, he provided the monologue, I guess like a voiceover, on a video called Black Widow for the group Alice Cooper.
Oh,
yeah, exactly. And Welcome to My Nightmare was the name of the album. I don't know. They're not my thing. But he was on a TV special. I don't know if visually he was on the TV special, but his voice at least was. And what were they like as individuals? I mean, Alice Cooper, what?
Yeah, so tell us about your experience with Alice Cooper. What was that like? He really appreciated his sensibilities because he was bringing the love of the macabre and adding an extra layer to it. There was humor there. There was intelligence. And, so many people, so many musicians, they're just all about the music. Alice was about the production. It wasn't just singing a song.
Now they're the guys with the like the kabuki makeup, right? And
Alice, not as much. That's Kiss that you're thinking of.
Oh, I was thinking of Kiss. Yeah. What did they look like?
Well, Kiss had the white face, the kabuki makeup.
What did Alice Cooper look like?
He had some of that, but it was not as intense. It was more spooky, like the raggedy kind of black stripes mixed with the white. So it was more ghoulish than refined, which Kiss, their makeup was kabuki. It was refined.
Right.
So that
So
was a big,
Was Alice Cooper the one that looked a little bit like, oh God, Beetlejuice?
yes,
Okay.
yes,
I kind of know who they were. Okay.
yeah.
My ignorance never ceases to be projected onto the screen. Every time I make a video, there's something new I absolutely know nothing about. It's pretty funny. Okay, so was he into their music? I mean, how did he, the two least likely, the least likely pairing I would ever predicted?
Alice
That's a
Cooper
question.
and
Yeah,
Vincent.
and
Yeah.
Vincent Price.
No,
Yeah,
he appreciated his artistic side,
yeah,
and he enjoyed it because not everybody got it, and that amused him. He was one of those intellects who saw things that not everybody did, and
yeah.
he was amused by it.
Well,
He
people took it
appreciated
seriously, the whole shtick, right?
it. Some did and some didn't. He did that song "School's Out for Summer." He was very well known for that song,
Oh, okay.
and that brought a different kind of genre to his music, because that was like the rebels, the teenagers who were rebelling and let's get
Right.
out of school and go have fun and make merry. So it was a different energy, which Vincent appreciated. So he
Yeah.
appealed to a wider audience because of that.
Oh, imagine people who didn't know him before, right? Let's see here. Oh, he did a role on stage where he traveled the whole world to do this live theater where he portrayed Oscar Wilde. And it was said in my research that his family and he considered it his best performance ever. So could he talk about that a little bit? Because I love Oscar Wilde. So
Okay, so tell us about your trip around the world playing Oscar Wilde. What was that like? It was deeply satisfying because the nuances, the layers of the character, when you do a performance once, you've got that one shot to get it all in there. It's very intense. It's a whole different experience. But when you have a character that you are repeatedly portraying over time, that performance expands, it grows, it becomes greater than the sum of the parts, if that makes sense.
no, I
And
get it.
as,
Yeah.
yeah, as a performer, that was very satisfying. Plus, of course, he loved the subject matter.
Yeah.
He was also a fan.
Yeah. Well, I think he's talking about something like, was it Holbrook who did Mark Twain on stage? And he did it so much and so long, and I think that was who it was. He was so acclaimed that he kind of became equated with Mark Twain. He kind of embodied him. It was like he channeled him. It was pretty remarkable. Yeah. Did he channel Oscar Wilde?
Good question. So, Vincent, would you say that you channeled Oscar Wilde? Absolutely. Yeah. Not intentionally at first, but as he inhabited his skin, they became one in a sense, energetically. And it was like, it was like the Oscar's voice being piped through his brain and coming out his mouth. It flowed.
Oh, bravo. Yeah. So, not to change the subject or anything, but what is it about roller coasters? Because I don't get it. He loved roller coasters.
Oh.
I find them disturbing and scary, and a moment of existential dread at each point on the ride. So he made a couple of documentaries in honor of the history of roller coasters. And on one of the documentaries, he went around the country and rode all the famous roller coasters. I don't get it.
Tell us about the roller coasters. What was your fascination with them? There's an art to creating a good roller coaster. And there are so many out there that are inferior. So the traveling around the world was about finding the best ones. The really excellent roller coasters are like sex. The highs and the lows.
Okay. I don't
So
know. Like I said,
that makes sense when you think about it. So the anticipation and then the release when you go down the hill, and yeah,
I don't
that's what
know.
he was feeling, and he wanted the very best.
I hear it. I understand what he's saying, but for some of us, it's more about the dread and the fear. It's very scary. So that just took me by surprise. I thought it was really interesting. I never would have predicted that. Then he did. Oh, this is cool. So he had a degree in fine arts. He was working on his master's in fine arts when he was younger, before he got on the stage. He got into acting because I guess he probably had to take an acting class towards his degree, right? Eventually, in 1980-ish, he did a whole thing where he got together with Sears, and they did a Sears. Let me see if I can find what it was called. I had it written down, and now I've lost it. Okay. He became the art consultant for Sears. Who knew Sears had an art consultant? And they sold what was called the Vincent Price collection of fine arts. And I'm guessing that they were copies of famous artwork and kind of with his stamp of approval. Or was it his work? It wasn't clear what I read.
So what I got, he was an early forerunner to being a brand ambassador. So they were using his name to sell the products.
So they were famous artists. All different famous.
You want to know about the art itself?
Well, I'm just partly, yeah, I'm curious. Was he putting his name towards this collection of stuff I really like, and it's Van Gogh and it's Matisse and it's, is that what was happening?
Okay, so Vincent, the art that you were presenting with Sears, was that art that you specifically liked or chose? Did they let you do that? Not 100%, but he had input. He guided it. They were more using his name.
Yeah. So who was he into as an artist? Who was he into?
So who were your favorite artists? Monet? Who else? Munch. He liked Munch.
Did he like Klimt?
Who?
Klimt? Gustav Klimt?
Oh, Gustav Klimt. Did you like him? Not so much.
Ah, that's what that poster is. He's my favorite. Those are fighting words.
Yeah,
that's the beauty of art.
Anybody else that sticks out for you that you'd like to mention? Yeah, he rather liked Picasso. He liked the juxtaposition that some of the artists employed. That appealed to him from the intellectual perspective.
Let me ask him an art question, since he's far better trained in art than I am. Jackson Pollock, can he explain that to me? I do.
Yes. What would you say about Jackson Pollock? Lazy.
Well, that makes me feel better. Let's see here. So, Jackie Kennedy bought some of the art that was in that collection that he had his stamp of approval on. Paintings by Charles Bird King, really famous portraits of Native Americans done a long time ago in their native outfits before they were completely wiped out, like individuals that he would just run across, and he would have, I've always loved those paintings. I wish I had brought some upstairs. I have a book of them. You would absolutely recognize these paintings. They're absolutely beautiful. And Jackie Kennedy picked them out because of Vincent Price. She bought them at Sears to put them in the White House.
Wow.
Well, I guess the originals were in a museum. And she wanted to honor, the Native Americans in them. I thought that was really cool. Yeah. Well, let's see. What else have I got here? Oh, this man, so many talents. He was a gourmet cook. And he wrote several cookbooks. And he had a cooking show. on television where he taught like easy things to do. He went on, who was the show? He went on Johnny Carson show and taught everybody how to poach fish in the dishwasher. Which, if you think about it, makes sense because it's kind of a sous vide, like a sous vide, when they cook it in a sealed bag in water. Yeah. And kind of like that, right? Ask him for me.
Creative.
Yeah. What was his favorite recipe?
So what's your favorite recipe, Vincent? I'm seeing blood red, tomato red. Are you telling me it's something tomato? Some kind of a pasta dish? That doesn't sound right.
Is he joking about vampires?
Oh, are you're making a joke about vampires with the blood red? Yeah, being silly.
I knew it.
So, do you have a favorite recipe that you want to share with us? Split pea soup.
Oh, well, I like that. That's good too. Does he do the whole putting garlic and onions in it, or is he a purist and it's only a little bit of ham?
So, when you make your recipe, is it simple, or do you add layers of flavor to it? Oh no, he's an artiste. He adds the complex layers. And he also says he doesn't make it the same way every time because he likes to mix things up. He's very creative, and a lot of creativity is expressed through his cooking.
Which did he prefer, baking or cooking?
So baking or cooking? Cooking, definitely.
Oh, okay. What do you think of Wolf?
Didn't find challenging at all.
Pardon?
The baking did not feel challenging to him. It's like anybody can bake.
Oh God, don't offend me. Baking is like chemistry lab. It's so hard. You have to be so precise. I have a daughter who's a fabulous baker. And it's like black magic. I just don't know how she does it. What did he think of Wolfgang Puck? He worked with him.
Okay, so Wolfgang Puck. What did you think about him? He was an interesting character, a study in contrast, because the outer image did not reflect the inner man. So he did appreciate the opportunity to get to know him, because inside of that rough exterior, there's an artist. And so they connected on the artistic level. And so many people, they might appreciate the food, but they don't appreciate it at the level of the connoisseur. Mm-hmm. And that's what he was going for. Nothing surface level about him.
No. What does he think about the average American diet today? No, not you. Him. I know how you.
No, that was him. That's the reaction I got from him. Yeah. So what do you want to say about that? It's deplorable. It's that unrefined palate that wouldn't appreciate a gourmet dish if it was offered to them. They don't have the sophisticated level to understand and appreciate. It's just that you throw the slop out there, they mow it down without barely breathing. It should be dining.
No, I hear you. Yeah, and he was into
inhaling
wine. One of my favorite things to do, because judge not, lest you be judged. And I'm probably going to hell for this. But one of my favorite things to do is to walk around the grocery store and look at what people have in their cart. And 99% of the time it's beige. And it comes in a box. It's just incredible. People don't buy vegetables. I think some people don't even know there's a vegetable section in the grocery store. It's kind of remarkable, And when you watch television, all you ever see people eating is pizza and like hamburgers and fried chicken, fast food.
Yeah.
Maybe if somebody's a real connoisseur, they're eating pasta from Olive Garden. And I like Olive Garden, don't get me wrong. They have a great soup there with kale and potato. It's really good. But he's right, it is abysmal. And I wonder, does he have any insight into why we have degenerated to this point?
Yeah, he's saying it's a lack of sensitivity and a connection with the intellect. Everything is very surface level. It's, what is your guttural instinct? And you go with that. You don't spend any time reflecting or experiencing even, because if they would just stop when they're eating something at a nice restaurant and allow themselves to let the flavors play over their palate, just pause, breathe, feel it, experience it. It could be life-changing, but they don't have the time. They're too busy playing with their phones and rushing around. And there's a sensibility that's been lost in the modern day world. And he's very sad about that.
Does he have an opinion about the direction that our culture appears to be going?
He's showing me like crashing into a wall, like a pile up on the highway, just trashed. So we are moving towards a big ending, big splash, big fancy ending, messy, so we can start over and build again from the ground up.
Is he saying that, or are you?
He's saying that. That's the picture he showed me.
Tell him I said that I really believe him, because this is like the 4th time this week I have received that message from a completely different source in a completely different way, each individual time. Identical message. I have chills right now.
Yeah. It's like, it's not enough just to try to make it better. It's just going to be wiped out because it's in tatters. It has no value. It's done.
As a recovering human being, does he have any words of advice for those of us who are not complete dolts, who are trying to weather this in the best way we can? Does he have any guidance?
So what guidance do you have for people today, Vincent, who are trying to rise above and find a better place and a better way to be? What would you share with us about that? You've got to do the inner work. You've got to reconnect with who you are as a being, not just being here, but experiencing it at a higher level, allowing yourself to feel the layers, noticing them, slowing down, paying attention, savoring the experiences. And then it's spend a little time evaluating them. It's like, I'm seeing a crochet hook. So you take a crochet hook and you've got a pot pie and you're picking it apart to see what's there, to appreciate the layers, not to just swallow.
He's talking about introspection.
Yeah.
So I have a question. Level. So I'm going to try to not use the trigger words that gets both of us into trouble. Okay. Our unfortunate medical experience that started about 5 years ago, that turned everything upside down for quite a while, continues to have ramifications. I have been of the opinion from the beginning that this was this sounds terrible. I understand how people might take offense at this. I know it was terrible. I mean, for sure. But I also feel it was an opportunity to stop and be introspective. Do I have that completely wrong, or was this our last chance to get our act together?
Okay, so what would you say about that, Vincent? Yeah, it was a wake-up call, an opportunity. So for those who paused and took advantage of the opportunity to go inside to think about who they want to be and how they want to be and what they want to bring to the world, then to explore things that maybe they've always wanted to explore, but there was no time. Diving in, appreciating, it's a sensory experience that you're missing right now. There's too much rushing about and you're skipping over the deeper experience. And that's what presented itself to you in that quiet time. Some took advantage, and it shows. Many more did not. But it's still available to you should you choose to do that.
I hear what he's saying, and I agree with him to a point. But I think part of this is my opinion. I'm curious to see his take on it. I think a large part of the problem is that we are so attached to the sensory world that we've lost sight of our true purpose, because we're here to appreciate the physical, but not to become so attached to it that we lose sight of our real purpose. Am I wrong about that? Or, I mean, are we supposed to be just appreciating all the good stuff and, blithely going on our way? I don't know.
So, Vincent, can you expound upon that? Are we here just to have the sensory experience, the physicality, or is there more? Well, of course there's more. And of course that's a part of it, because as you do the introspection and you get to know yourself, it's not just your egoic self. It is your soul self. It's that higher level of refinement when you connect with that energy. And then you bring those sensibilities, you ground it into your physicality and allow that to shine forth from you. Allow that to lead you as you explore and learn. Allow it to excite you and help you to find treasures that you have never thought of even existing. And now you find them strewn before you abundantly on the sand, there for the picking. It's all there for you, but you've got to open your eyes and see it, experience it. It's far greater than just the physicality, yes.
Well, I have one more kind of set of questions, but I don't want to bring up something that he might feel is nobody's beeswax. And I think he would probably know to what I refer. I'm talking about his daughter and the confession that he made to his daughter. Does he know what I mean?
So, Vincent, the confession that you made to your daughter, is that true? Is that a real story? Yes.
Is he comfortable talking about it? Is it okay?
So, would you be open to talking about it? He would prefer not to.
Okay. Well,
it doesn't just involve him.
Oh, okay. Well, no, I'm fine with that. We all kind of know what the gist of it is. I talked about it in my video. She's open about it. It's in her book. I think she wrote a book. I've done so many of these now, I forget. But I just admire his acceptance of her and his honesty with her, and the fact that he immediately became active in supportive organizations. And I just find that heroic and admirable. And I just wanted to let him know. This has got to be one of the most moving and significant conversations that you and I have had with somebody who has passed, because this is such a refined, intelligent, talented, creative person with such an open, can you feel it?
Yeah.
I'm blown away. I always knew I love you, Vincent, but now, this is serious relationship.
So he's saying he appreciates the opportunity because so many people see him at the surface level as this top figure. And there's way more to him than that. And he,
oh my God, yes.
Opportunity to actually talk about it and put it out there.
Oh, it's remarkable. He had so many talents, so many different levels of talent. But that was part of the shtick, wasn't it? Like hiding, behind that caricature. It was a
Yeah.
caricature. Loved it. It was fabulous because it was such a work of art in and of itself. So I don't know. Do you have any questions?
He just said that was carefully curated.
No. Well, you didn't fool me. I always had a sense that, you know, there was more going on. Oh, there is one other thing. I had forgotten about this. These pages of notes just go on and on. So I do have another question. There was a whole kind of mini scandal about him because he really, you know, he's in England in the 30s, and he really admired the Weimar Republic, but he didn't like its licentiousness. He thought it was too free. And when Hitler came in, he sort of welcomed more imposition of control and more structure and things that he thought were bad about the Republic, like the social things. But then he became friends with Dorothy Parker and, oh God, what's her name? Lillian Hellman, two of my favorite writers. And they set him straight. And he became a staunch supporter of democracy and very anti-fascist. But that kind of stink of his early support for Hitler kind of lingered for a while. And I wonder if he had anything to say about that. I'm not making accusations. We all evolve. But I'm just curious what that was about.
Yeah. So can you talk about that, Vincent? Clearly you changed your mind, but tell us about the before time. Well, it made logical sense to him. He felt that there was a little too much freedom and things were getting out of control. It was too erratic and frenetic, and that bothered him. It was grating on him like sandpaper. And so when these new concepts were being introduced of making things more regimented, on the surface, that seemed logical, made sense, and it felt comfortable. But once he considered it at a deeper level, thanks to his friends, he could see that it was like the wolf in sheep's clothing. It was introducing this new concept, portraying itself in one way, but underneath the seamy underbelly, once he saw it, couldn't unsee it. And it was untenable. It was horrific. And he was so grateful that his eyes had been opened. But he wants us to take away from that this is how people get led astray. There's something that captures their fascination, that resonates with them energetically, and they're not looking at the big picture. They're looking at that one aspect. And it's so important, especially now, to look at the bigger picture, to see whether it aligns with who you are, what your values are, before you climb on board. Otherwise, you might find yourself on a ship to nowhere.
Yeah, that's kind of what my next question was. Does he feel like we're on a very parallel path right now?
So would you say we're on a parallel path, at least here in America? Oh, certainly America, but it's broader than that.
It's global. Yeah,
it's
global.
An infection that is spreading, and it needs to be quelled. It will be quelled, but it's going to take a lot of effort. It's not going to be easy. You won't defeat the fascism easy because it's gotten a foothold. It's going to take a lot of effort and intention, but don't give up because you can overcome this. Each of you have to dig deep within inside of you to decide what you're made of and whether your world, your life is worth fighting for. And that's not an easy decision, but it's an important one.
Oh, that's I have this uncomfortable feeling I'm being spoken to. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's helpful.
Yeah, thank you.
I guess that's all the questions I have. I really like where he had his ashes spread. It's a beautiful place. I know where it is, and it's an absolutely beautiful place. And if I had to make that decision, that I wouldn't be unhappy about being there. Beautiful place. Malibu, off one of the beaches in Malibu. That's gorgeous. Well, did he know that John Waters was a big fan of him?
Oh. He's laughing. Yes. And he enjoys that very much because Waters might have that rough exterior, but inside he's a sensitive, artistic man.
Oh, I love John Waters. There's depth there. Did he copy your mustache, Vincent?
So do you think he copied your mustache? Well, imitation.
That's right. It's an homage.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think I have any other questions. I just have had so much fun. This has been a wonderful conversation.
Yeah, it feels like a big warm hug. He's just like a teddy bear of a man, and so smart.
The kind of person, like, that game that we play sometimes, if you could invite a group of people to dinner from any time period, living or dead, who would you invite? I would invite him. Because he would be so interesting to talk with.
Yeah.
Maybe someday I can convince you to appreciate Clint more, Vincent. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah. So thank you. We appreciate you.
That was fun.
He says, my pleasure. Yeah.
No, our pleasure.
He enjoyed it.
Thanks. It was fun. I really enjoyed it too. How about you?
Yes. One of my favorites.
Did you know all that stuff?
No.
Yeah, I start to research these people, and sometimes I think, did I accidentally go on the wrong page or something? I mean, they did what? So interesting. Yeah. It's just remarkable, but it sort of gets reinforced all the time that people who are creative are polycreative. They're not creative in just one thing. They aren't afraid to try a whole lot of other things. You can see that in him. It's cool. He was an artist too.
Most people appreciated the depth of character. They would see one aspect or another of the man and overlook the rest because he was private about some of these things. And it was also compartmentalized.
Yeah. Well, I picked him because I've always had an affinity for him since I was a little girl. I loved him. Now you know why. Just so much to him, right? Uh-oh. When my nose starts to itch and I'm hitting on the truth, it's so funny. Somebody remarked on that. I'll be reading cards, when I start doing this, I don't even know I'm doing it. And it means information coming in. That's my antennas on the end of my nose. Yeah. Okay, I guess we're done here. Our work here is done this Halloween week, and I appreciate it.
Yeah. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween, everybody. And stick around this week because we're going to be doing several of these very interesting conversations. And the last one is a doozy. Happy Halloween.
Bye.